if it didn't have political motives attached to it, it had a very obvious solution, which was keep calm and carry on. That was the solution, which was essentially like, hey, once the data started to roll in, it's like, okay, old people, fat people, immune-compromised people, you're all at risk. So please take extra precautions. And then younger people, young, healthy people, continue to live your life. And, we're all going to spread it to each other. And we're going to get herd immunity. And then we're going to create a safe population for the immune-compromised, the old, and the elder, and the fat.
Well, the reason why it fundamentally changed the fabric of America and why we need to whipsaw it back is the fundamental presupposition in America is that we're an individualist country, which is to say that your rights as an individual are atomic. And then we aggregate out your atomic rights into what we call America. But under COVID, they were saying, no, you have a collective obligation. You have collective guilt. You have collective rights that supersede your individual rights. And you have no right to medical consent because, you want to kill your grandma even though you're healthy? Well, you have to, it became an obligation. It's beyond unethical to say, I'm going to do harm to your body on the off chance that you might help another person.
America, yeah. I think the problem here, Mohan, is that what you're saying is true about America, but in practice, it's dead. America's become an ethnic tribal conflict zone.
I don't think it's dead, Huddle. I just think we need to kick out 25 million people and have no one enter for 20 years.
I agree with you, but seems to be Trump is not doing a good job doing that. The other administration, whoever gets in, wants to reverse it immediately. We just don't have.
He could spend 8 years kicking people out, and then the left can undo it in 2 years by opening up the border.
Oh, no.
Exactly correct.
The right will reign supreme until Nick Fuentes gets in.
The problem is,
and then Nick Fuentes is going to make fucking interracial marriage illegal, and we go back to being full retard again.
It's not full retard, but
the problem is we have a bunch of people in America here who don't believe in the ethos of America. And not all of them are new immigrants. Some of the new immigrants believe in it more than some of the people who've been here for generations at this point. And I don't know how you unring that bell culturally, because we just had a good culture. It was only 30 years ago we had a good culture. Where did it go? It just disappeared overnight. I still feel, I know things fall apart. I know this is life, but I still feel shell-shocked by it. And
I also
not
think
capable of, I'm not capable of re-engineering it. That's the thing that's, I think, most disconcerting is I
don't think people have changed that much. I just think your perception of the country has changed. So it used to be that your vibe check for America would be going to your kid's school, PTA meetings, and going to church and going to the local bar. And I bet you right now, if you went to your kid's PTA meeting, your church, and your bar, that it's still 80% America 30 years ago. But now what you think of as America is a YouTube video or Twitter or it's just you've expanded the scope of opinions to give your perception of what you think America is. I think we're really fucking close to going back to the way we used to be. It's just the bellwethers that we use to evaluate the country have gotten so much wider in scope that we think we've changed faster than we actually have.
There are Somalian tribal warfare conflicts influencing politics in Minneapolis.
Oh yeah, no, they all have to go. They all have to go. They're part of the 20 million. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is no, I hear this sometimes where it's go outside, it's still the 90s, and it's but it's not, man. I live amongst heritage Americans mainly who are doing well economically. And so for me, life is pretty good on the day-to-day or whatever. But I don't care. I'm a middle-aged man. I could die tomorrow and I don't give a fuck about myself, to be honest with you. I care about my children and their future, and nothing in the country is trending in the correct direction. And so that's not me being I don't know, Twitter fucked or something. All of the data is going horribly awry in real time in front of us. And
okay,
the world we're going to leave in the future is going to be a fundamentally worse America. Period.
I'm gonna push back on one metric, which is I think the only way in which America seems to be turning around, which is on energy production. Like all this AI bullshit. Like we genuinely will be leaving our children a grid that's multiple times stronger.
By the way, I feel good about us because we led that fight. We paved the way
with Bitcoin. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I feel good about all the work we had to endure to fucking pave the way for the AI guys. But I mean, can tech save America? It's like I would like to think so because that's sort of my.
I don't think American dynamism saves America. I just think that it keeps allowing us to pull a rabbit out of the hat to unfuck catastrophe, and then we just live long enough to eventually unfuck the real problem. But the technology rabbit out of the hole just keeps the game going long enough to live, to live long enough to then fix the problem.
Yeah.
Well, because the thing I was saying before to you a while back was that I actually think that the debt is going to continue to grow exponentially, and that AI is going to make us all exponentially more economically productive. But they're both going to cancel out, and we're just still going to have the exact same standard of living because the $500 trillion debt will be sustained by everyone having 19 robots, and you'll still work. You'll have zero quality of life increase.
I think that we need to. I don't know, man. I would like to believe you that my vibe check is that everybody is an individuated American still who believes in the meritocratic ideals. But I don't.
Hey, Lissa, thanks for posting that. I saw you made a post about the campaign.
Sort of in group preference.
Keep making more and tag the hood and tag me on X.
And now it's happening to white people.
Doing great work, Alyssa.
We also have the cascade failure of we pay people to not work, and then they have all of the time that they need to influence politics because they don't have a job.
That's true. That's a problem.
That's just a cascade failure.
People screech about the Irish, infecting this country or whatever, and it's like, bro, with what time? The Irish were either drunk or at the factory the whole time, their whole lives. Like, there was nothing else that they were doing, Dude. I mean, sure, Tammany Hall was corrupt and the Irish played a big part in that and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all true. But, the Irish were just at work. We're just working in the factory. It was Upton Sinclair's per jungle.
I do think that if you're a net tax receiver rather than payer, you should not have the right to vote. It's just any way to fix this outside of that.
I think that's completely fair too, because that would actually get rid of a lot of billionaire characters. Like Donald Trump couldn't vote if that was the case, because he is not a net taxpayer because he has that huge write-off from the 80s. So every year he takes a loss.
I haven't looked at George Soros' taxes in a while, but for the past 20 years, he would get tax exemptions and then roll them over, and he would every administration he would get a 10-year tax exemption, and then by the next time Democrats are in power, they would roll it over. And dude, if you gave me 50 years of taxes, I also would be a billionaire by the time I was 80.
Isn't it much George Soros? What a scumbag that guy is.
The dude literally said when he was 70, the happiest year of his life was the year that he was a Nazi collaborator seizing Jewish lands for the Nazis. Not his first child, not his second child, not his grandchildren, not when he became a billionaire, not when the war ended and the Berlin Wall fell. It was the year he was a Nazi collaborator seizing Jewish land.
And he's Jewish, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was Christian. And he was 14 at the time, and he got a job as a bookkeeper for the Nazis as they were seizing land. And he said it was exhilarating, it was exciting, it was the happiest year of my life.
That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. As you guys are talking about the in-group biases and that preference, I was scrolling, and I saw how much of a shit show Canada's in by all the Indians they took. Because the Indians they took are They have their own separatist movement. They want another place in India, Pakistan region called Khalistan,
and they're all waving their own flags, and there's like, you know, third world beefs there. But India does not want any of these fuckers back. So Canada has to now deal with all these fucking psycho-separatists thinking that they're going to somehow get back to Asia and get a country.
You know what's going to happen, Vic, right? Is they're just going to walk the northern border and move to fucking Maine and Michigan.
Yeah.
And they're going to fuck up America.
Well, and then at the same time, by the way, you have the young white guys have all decided that they're an identity group. And, you know, they were like, that was supposed to be like baked in that the young white guys were going to believe in individual, you know, sovereignty, and they don't anymore because of the, you know, the Fuenteses of the world. And so, like, it's very hard for me to see a world in which we get back individualist meritocratic ideals, especially because, like, just follow the money here. Half of the fucking country is on the fucking government dole. You know, so this is no longer a place where it's like manifest destiny.
Remember when Mitt Romney, it was so funny because there's so many reasons to hate Mitt Romney, but nothing he said that he got canceled for was incorrect. Where he was like, 47% of Americans receive more in government payouts than they ever pay in taxes. You're never going to win their vote if you're trying to talk about increasing productivity.
No, exactly. This is the point, is that
that was 20 years ago. Like, can you imagine what that percentage must be now?
Everybody is now an ethnic bloc, okay, including white people, and you basically, like, vote for whoever supports your ethnic bloc, and if you don't get whatever you want, you chimp out. And that's how politics works. And again, this is like sign of the collapse of the empire, is that this is how empires always die, or nations die, is that people discover, democracies die, I should say. People discover that they can vote themselves largesse from the public treasury, and then the nation collapses under loose fiscal policy because there's simply not enough money to give every group whatever they want, whatever their demands are.
Sorry, hold on, I just got here. You're talking about France, right? You're talking about America.
Well, this is happening in every country in the Western world.
I know.
So there is no fallback country for Western
we're
people.
2 steps ahead. We're generally 2 steps behind America, but we're like 3 steps ahead.
There's no fallback country for non-Westerners because, you know, the places they come from are unstable. And then there's no fallback country for Westerners because the places that they come from are all going to do the same thing.
You know what's crazy to think about? When we lose free speech in America, do you know what that does to the internet? Because there's legally the only refuge for the concept of speech online being free is the shroud of the American legal system. And the moment that doesn't exist in America, there's literally going to be no such thing as free speech on the internet.
Once there's no free speech on the internet, by the way, it'll be pointless to even go on the internet. You know, why would we even want to go? It'll just be robots talking to each other, which it already is.
I'm just thinking about the scenario where you have to retreat from America, and if America loses free speech, like, how do you even engage in the internet with no free speech?
You know, America is the place where freedom makes its last stand. America is the Alamo of the world. But we need some help, you know, because we're not as strong as we were 75 years ago, post-war. We don't have the culture to uphold freedom anymore.
Huddle, have you been following the 4chan lawsuit that the British government has had?
What's going on with that?
Oh, so the British government, Ofcom, which is their like censorship regulator, they passed a law last year that said that any company that has people speak on it needs to be regulated by Ofcom. And then they went after Gab and they went after 4chan, and they told them that they have to shut down like people on their site, or they'll penalize them and then they'll throw them in jail. And they'll penalize them 10% of their gross profit or gross revenue. And so they did this like a month or two ago. But 4chan has no offices in the UK. Everything is based in America. And so now they're trying to force British law on an American company in America based on them not censoring people in America. And traditionally, the way it works is if you don't like a company, you IP block it to your country.
Mm-hmm.
But the UK is going one further, and they're saying, we're not going to IP block you. We're just going to prosecute you for not adhering to British law, even though you literally have no premise in the UK.
Well, I mean, if you're an American, what effect should that have on you? None, technically.
So one of my good friends is the lawyer who every single company that Ofcom has sued in America, he is taking them on pro bono and has been representing them. And dude, if you want, I'll send you some of his letters. They're the funniest, most base thing you've ever read.
It's like shit. Have you ever read the letter from the Pirate Bay to it was like EA or something, somebody, one of the American media conglomerates, and they were like, hey, fuck faces, we're in Sweden. We don't care about your copyright laws. Like, it was like the greatest letter ever.
Yeah. But it's happening in real time now. The UK is trying to assert. But if you actually look into how Ofcom started doing that, it actually was Hillary Clinton who asked them to do it. Because back when the Russiagate stuff happened, she realized that you couldn't get free speech. The easiest way to destroy free speech in America was to try to get the UK to pass this law and then try to apply it to American companies.
Man, we got a lot of problems going on. A lot. But Bitcoin's up.
Hey, Trump's here. He's thrown no one in jail, and everything's going to be better now. Remember that whole massive pedophile ring that compromised thousands of people who run the government, and nothing happened? I'm really glad that Trump's here to keep making nothing happening.
By the way, Alvaro in the chat wants to know if you're racist. Are you racist, Mohan?
Racism is defined as a form of hatred to a group of people. Could you describe a race that I would consider people?
That was a lot. That said a lot. Yeah.
I don't respond to the chat. If they want to talk to me, they can talk.
I'm in this position.
I don't see anyone calling you
racist. He was just he was like, y'all racist? Such a broad question. Like, hey, are y'all racist? No, the answer is no. I find myself in this middle ground of like trying to hold the center of meritocratic individualist ideals for our fucking nation and just getting completely blown the fuck out every day. Just getting destroyed every day. But just being a fucking retarded libertarian and just continuing to show up and be like, this is all I can do. This is who I am. I can't do anything different. You know?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that I always hate a lot about some libertarians that become the like, hey, I'll call it the like the low hygiene libertarians. And when I say hygiene, I mean like psychological hygiene, right? They're just hyper permissive and they think everything is open and available. And it's
right.
like, no.
We don't,
like,
yeah, that's dumb.
Like everything can be private land, and I can tell you to get off my land. Like in like you can have private communities, and the private community can say you're not allowed in this neighborhood. You're allowed in this neighborhood. You're not allowed in this neighborhood. You're allowed in this neighborhood, and they could do it on the basis that they want to do it in. And
it's
like,
kind of like this wokeified version of Christianity, which assumes that like in order to be Christian, you have to just be like
help every homeless person.
Well, not only that, but you have to like sit there and just let people kill you, essentially. Right. You know, it's like that's the most Christian ideal. It's like, nah, I'm good on that one.
But yeah, I just you can acknowledge that we have 22 million trespassers, and the only way you can fix the country, like how can you imagine you come home and your kids had a house party, and there are still random fucking 17-year-olds who are shit-faced in your house, and you're like, let me discipline my kids, but you're disciplining your kids and you haven't even finished kicking out the fucking random drunk 17-year-olds that aren't even from your neighborhood out of your house.
Totally. Well, the idea that America is just this, I mean, you know, I think America is going through this big identity crisis itself, which is like, are we a nation? Or are we an economic zone? Because if we're an economic zone, it completely changes everything. Because a lot of us still think of us as being a nation, you know?
I also think that we're a set of principles and ideas, and if A, you have to be useful to us, and B, if we know that you don't adhere those values or ideals, you should have no access to this country. I think John Seth completely convinced me. It didn't take much convincing because I was like 80% of the way there. But I think the only way you fix America is by repealing the Civil Rights Act. And then Huddle drops off. He knows it's too much of a hot potato. Hey, John Seth, are you there? Oh, and then John Seth drops off. Oh, God. Just leave me with this hot potato. Sorry, did you say something, Jason?
I just laughed, but I was going to say that I know in the UK they're looking at it the same way. Like their equivalent of the Civil Rights Act is like they're looking at like that's the cornerstone of everything else.
The right to free association is an inherent right that has been trampled, and it was based on this idea that the government had to compel people to not engage in it because we needed to integrate. We're fully integrated. Like it was a huge encroachment on our rights. And for rights of association, I think its time has come. I think it needs to leave. And I think a lot of the things that need to get fixed once you can reaffirm that right again of free association.
Yes, Moan, I agree with you quite a bit. And I think that this is actually that gets missed sometimes in Bitcoin when people talk about Bitcoin solely through the freedom of speech and private property, which is that economics is built upon association, and when you have economic distortions, the effect of that is to impede people's basically ability to get together, whether that's forming businesses in whatever way, and so people don't think about it that way, but that's pretty much what happens. So when people talk about crony capitalism or whatever, really, if people had the freedom of association in business to just go and form their own business, then the whole aspect of labor wouldn't be an issue. Yeah.
Well, I just also think, like, you think of the second and third order effects of the Civil Rights Act, and I just remember the way, like, to this day, or when I was like living, impacted me, was I was a part of a number of fraternities, which, because the fraternities were social and professional, which is to say it was a social frat, but we all made sure to get each other jobs when we graduated, that the Civil Rights Act in the 70s forced them to become integrated. And so it was a frat that had chicks in it because, like, and it completely destroyed the name of the group, which was, hey, this is a way to teach young men how to be gentlemen and get us our first job out of college. And I think that a lot of the, like, disparities in female versus male outcomes occurred not because, like, hey, I mean, there's obviously, like, affirmative action for women, but it's that there were so many structures that were effectively social affirmative action for men, which was just like, hey, let me help you out, that became criminal, and then nothing replaced them. And now there's just a shit ton of men who don't know how to become adults or get their first job because there just used to be all of these, like, social clubs or gentlemen's clubs. Not gentlemen's clubs like strip clubs, but, like, like cigar lounges where you would go and be like, hey, how do I be a man,
Mohan, back to your point about like the Civil Rights Acts or equivalents have been like they were effective, and I think you're right. Like like mission accomplished. And I think that like that would be a great way for a politician to put a flag in the ground and say mission accomplished. That's why we need to get rid of it because we're integrated. We learned all the things we needed to learn.
I don't think there is. So there's only two ways that it'll get fixed. One is the Supreme Court route of the Supreme Court without politics just being like, we're going to sunset this. The other is going to be, you're going to need a probably racial reactionary Nick Fuentes retard to do the Donald Trump playbook, where remember, like, people think about Donald Trump now, and we kind of forget how much of a retard he was 8 or 9 years ago, when he was like, I'm going to build the wall, Mexico's going to pay for it, I'm going to ban all Muslims from entering this country. And he did none of that, right? And I think we're going to need like a Nick Fuentes style, like I'm going to make interracial marriage illegal kind of guy, to like get this kind of thing passed. And I don't want to live in the world where that kind of person becomes president.
Yeah, but you're describing like somebody almost new policy that would be like the opposite of the Civil Rights Act, which I don't think is this.
Oh, what I
when you started that.
yeah. What I'm trying to say is, hey, we did it. Let's stop. And I think that the pendulum's going to swing back to segregation, and it's going to be a segregationist movement that removes the Civil Rights Act in order to segregate.
I get you.
Chris, you seeing all this snow, man? Where the hell did it just come out of, bro?
Yeah, it's wild. Quite a lot.
Yeah, dude, like a ton.
Yeah. No, I'm not liking it. Yeah, I walked my dogs around like my mall today.
How has your transition been coming from like a little town to freaking downtown Toronto chaos?
That's fine, man. I feel like people don't realize how much of their life they just spend inside. You know? Like, I don't know. It's not like, and I spend a lot more time outside than most, but like, I don't know. Nothing really, I don't really find it much different.
Yeah, majority of the time we're just plugged into the matrix, right? I make this conscious effort wherever I am to see, okay, well, how many are in this moment, or how many are just like on their phones? And we love that matrix, bro. We love that matrix.
Real life is the matrix.
Right? Plot twist.
Saggy tits.
Sitting in the garden, just started laughing.
They're beautiful, Becca. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise.
Becca, I fell down a Mythbusters rabbit hole and started old Mythbusters episodes. And I got to the one where Tori Belleci puts fake boob, inserts into her bra to make her breasts look like twice as big. And they tested the air quotes myth as to whether or not you get more tits with bigger tits. And she got
tits with bigger tits?
Better tips with bigger tits. And even exactly. She got 30% more money. But the interesting thing was that men tipped her 20% more and women tipped her like 35% more.
Interesting.
And so it was actually more of a female phenomenon than a male one. And I think there's two things to do here. One is because she worked at a coffee shop. She worked at like a restaurant, not a restaurant, like a checkout, like a deli, like coffee place. And she was there for a couple of days without the boob implants, and then she was there a couple of days with the inserts. And I think one of two things either happened. Either there really is just a bias for giving women with bigger tits money, or I think people subconsciously realized her boobs got bigger, and there's a genetic belief that when a woman's boobs get bigger, it's because she's pregnant, and then it elicits a response to give a pregnant woman more resources.
How large was this study?
How large were the breasts?
Asking for proper questions. I'll get the Mythbusters episode. I wouldn't call it a study. Mythbusters usually just does things for like a day or two.
Yeah, before we get to Becca's question, I need mine answered.
But she did the math, and if she just wore the boob inserts to go to work, she would make an extra like $6,000 a year. And this was like in 2010 money. Wow. So like, if there's any woman working in a tip-based industry, and I mean tip-based, like, dude, like fucking now you go to a fast food place and they have the little tip button for the cashier.
Bro, like city grocery stores have that now.
Dude, I honestly, like, boob inserts, I think every single woman should be wearing boob inserts for any job where they ask for tips. Because, dude, is there any single other thing you can do that'll increase your take-home pay by like $6,000 a year? I mean, $6,000 a year. Obviously, if you make over $100K, that's nothing. But I mean, like, you're making $50,000 a year, and you can increase your take-home pay by $6,000.
It all makes sense. I don't know how, like, I imagine the tips for sure, but like they probably just get hit on all day, right? Like, dude, if I was okay,
Here, I posted. It's only 3 minutes long. I posted it in the chat. It's from like 2009 or whatever. Hey, JC, could you Masters thing and play it in the room? It's only 3 minutes long.
it doesn't do the same when you can't see her boobs, man.
Apologies.
Casey, don't you got like some fucking screen or something you could ship to all our houses to like sync it while we walk?
What if you just shared the URL and we just watched it that way so he doesn't have to ship us a screen?
I posted the link in the chat. So, Vic, to answer your question, she was wearing a triple D.
Yeah, that's wild. If I had a wife or girlfriend, which I did at one time, not girlfriend, huge natural breasts, I'm just perping hard.
I'm gonna use my non-autistic inferential abilities. Is that to say that you currently do not have a girlfriend?
No, I do have a girlfriend, but I don't have a girlfriend with like larger than double D breasts.
Oh, got it, yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying. I'm glad I checked.
Yeah, thanks. You're good. But yeah, like I did have, whatever girlfriend back in college or friends with benefits, and dude, you're just permanently aroused. It's like it's amazing, but it's also very distracting.
Yeah, but, look, I'm not saying like live your life or get a boob job, but I'm saying if you have a job and you take tips, just fucking go on Amazon and buy some of those like silicone cup breast thingies.
I've never understood
triple D.
I've never understood Thai lady boy economy is better.
Triple D is pretty excessive.
Greg, you say excessive. I say you make an extra 10 or 20% more a year.
But triple D from what?
It doesn't matter from what. What matters is the outcome. So whatever you got, it needs to be triple D, and you will make 30% more tips, which could translate to a 10 or 50, whatever percentage of your income is tips, 30% more of that. For some jobs, tips are the majority of your income. It could be, a 15 to 20% increase in your yearly take-home pay because you wore shitty $100 silicone, pasties on your boobs.
Super stacked. That's not going to offset the cost of surgery because she's got back problems in 5 years.
Oh, she's gonna have back problems from others.
No. Greg, she's wearing these for what, 6 or 8 hours a day for a shift? This isn't a boob job. This is just fucking dude, children wear backpacks. I think she can handle fucking a pound of fake tits on the front of her for 8 hours to make an extra $10,000 a year.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know it's a pound. If she's an A cup, that's like 6 pounds.
I am speaking outside of my field here. You may be significantly more versed in exactly how much poundage is associated with big tits. I am speaking from a place of ignorance.
Greg, we're not interested unless they fucking dangle and hang and shit. I'm talking about cow udder titties that just.
I'm out.
Well, just look at the video.
Distract you, and you're consumed.
So Greg, look at the video that I posted in the chat.
$6,000 in one tip.
Go, look at the video posted in the chat. Go to 1 minute and 30 seconds. I would not call her chest excessive. I would just be like, yeah, that's a chick with tits. But maybe I'm warped as to what big tits are. Because that just seems, I don't think she'd have back shoulder pain from that for fucking 6 hours or 8 hours of wearing it.
That's triple D?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
1 second. I think they have multiple size boobs.
It depends on the frame too, right? If they're just bigger in general. It's not.
Okay, go to 3 minutes. I think if you go to 3 minutes, you can see her boobs more because they do look significantly bigger at 3 minutes.
Yeah. I think Mohan's right. And then in the video, they're pretty massive, dude.
Oh yeah, 3 minutes. I think when she's jumping and shit. See, that's what I'm talking about, Mohan. You kind of straight for a gay guy. I like it.
No, listen, I am here to help everyone with critical life advice. I tell black people to give themselves a white name when they apply to jobs, and I tell women to wear fake tits if they rely on tips. This is just life advice that every single person needs to have in order to succeed in America.
It's science.
Hey, straight eye for the queer guy.
It's science.
Straight eye for the queer guy, Mohan. This your new pod. You're just gonna be wingmanning all the homies.
Yeah, I would argue if she got big ass titties like that, she wouldn't even be working in that coffee shop. Maximum 12 months. She'd probably be married at home, fucking stay at home wife or something. There's a reason you never see those guys. There's men that are very attracted and they want to, you know.
By those guys, do you mean like her boobs or like actual?
So Clark, my question is, how many times would you go to this coffee shop to be like, listen, I thought with those tits you'd only be here for 6 months. I have no idea how you're still working here with those. Like, what
every single guy was thinking there is, how do I get this girl to date me? Like, that's why they were giving tips, right? They were really trying to signal, like, oh my god.
No. Here's the thing, dude. No. She had the increase in her tip amount was higher with women than men. So the delta.
I think it's just eye candy.
Oh wow. Okay, that's pretty.
It's eye candy, and I think with the women, it's just like, you know, it's motherly. She has like big ass boobs. She's nurtured.
So the other thing that they didn't say. The other thing they didn't say is they just talked about the percentage increase in tips based on gender. But they didn't say what the total raw number was. So it could be that men tipped her way more often, and the percentage that they gave her went up. Or it could be, like, I actually, they don't really break down to, like, a finance level what they meant by the percentage went up for more with women than men, because it could just be that women tip less often, but when they did, they tipped more.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot in that equation, but it definitely doesn't hurt. And Vic, you're right. Like, if you date someone with very big breasts, especially if they're like at home chilling with no bra, like, you just be fucking all the time, bro. Because it's so distracted. Like, oh my god, you just distracted all the time.
I mean, it's perma hard. It's happened to me,
like,
and it's
yeah, man.
It was in college, so luckily the consequences were just failing classes, and it wasn't like losing a job or something, you know.
So I remember, I don't know if it was in this room, but someone like looked into the psychology of this, and they were saying that big breasts signal a lot of milk, signal healthy child. So at its like primal level, what the man sees is someone that's going to nurture their child. Like, I thought it wasn't here that someone explained this.
Yeah, I've seen that too. And then I was telling Fish yesterday, like when we were joking about like we like big boobs, I was telling him that I think it, like the boob versus ass man thing is like you never grew out of that phase and you're still a kid trying to get milk. And there's like some maybe psychological issues behind that too. And I was fucking with him, but I don't know how true that is.
But it is common for someone to be like, oh man, that baby's never going to be hungry. You know, like if someone has big breasts, right? You just kind of like affiliate the two, right? A well-fed baby with some big...
Yeah. It's like, hey, do you want your baby drinking like a pint of milk a day or a gallon a day? You know, that's a good question, actually. Like, do bigger breasts produce more milk? I think so, right? Is that even correlated, or is there a... Come on, we need your fucking autism for this study.
Okay, so I haven't looked into this, but I don't understand why the amount of fat around the areola would increase the amount of production that the woman could make.
I don't think so.
The boobs are just like the fat, right? It's not the actual mammary gland that's making the milk, right? Like
it's the store. It's the store. It's not the production.
My question is this: do mammary gland size correlate to breast size? Because that's the question you're asking.
Yeah.
I do not know the answer to that. But I'm saying that is the question if you wanted to like chat GPT it.
What if you got like hoodwinked, Bork, where it's like the big breasts produce less? Like it's just skin and fat instead.
Think of the dude equivalent. Does dick size equate to semen volume? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. But then, I guess the equivalent then would be like, not your penis size, but your testicle size. And I don't know about that. Does that produce more semen if your testicles are bigger?
Well, seminal fluid. So sperm is produced by the testicles. Seminal fluid is just produced by your prostate.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need you to look this up, Mohan. Got my hands full right now, or I do it for you. Full of saggy titties.
Hey, CH Tender isn't joking. He doesn't lie, and we've converted him.
You guys will never know the joy of just casually molesting someone as you browse the internet, because women, I don't think, are as permissive as dudes. Because, like, if I just want to spend my day enjoying something while I, like, read an article, totally possible to do that. Can you guys just be like, hey, I have to study for this thing. Could I read a chapter of my textbook while I, play with your titties? Is that, like, a thing you can do?
Yeah.
To college, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
In college, I got ahead while studying.
There you go.
But, yeah, Mohan, we're saggy titty pilling everyone in here. CH Tender was not a fan either, but then he realized he was a fan, and it was just that word that he didn't like, but now he's come around.
When you say saggy titties, you talking like Nancy Pelosi, or what are we talking?
See, this is why
everybody keeps using Nancy Pelosi as the example.
Dude, she has huge tits.
So, like, not that saggy, but we're talking, like, naturally sagging big boobs, like Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney does not look like she has big tits.
What?
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 Mohan,
they're pretty
you're
big.
getting fucking straight and more straight by the fucking minute, and I like
You know what my problem could be? My problem is I think you all forget that I'm Latin, and so my concept of tits comes from, like, very thick Latin women. And so I just think what is considered normal breasts, like, I just think you all have, like, shriveled dicks for boobs, effectively.
Gotcha. Bork, you a fan of the saggy titties?
Like, Sweeney's got great breasts. Like, you call that, like, saggy? I call it, like, sexy swaggy, you know? But I wouldn't...
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, exactly. Because we're talking about, like... So me and Fish were saying, like, we like saggy titties because we're trying to differentiate versus, like, that firm double D that's, like, fucking, like... bolted on a TV mount. Like, that thing is properly in place, not going anywhere. Like, that shit.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan.
Like, the side boob has muscles and shit,
Yeah. She has, like, perfect breasts.
Yep.
That, Sweeney girl?
Yep.
And man, she got a lot of footage out there, bro. You hit that Reddit, you write her name, nudes, goddamn, she got a portfolio. What the hell did she used to do before?
Nudes? Really? I know she wears, like, see-through shit, but I don't know about nudes.
There's a lot of, well, at least topless. Like, she has a lot of scenes.
Oh, yeah, like movie scenes and shit, right? Like, it's like soft porn or whatever. It's not like OnlyFans or porn, but it's like HBO movies.
Yeah, because if it was, like, real porn, then she's just a dirty whore, you're not into that. But because, like, it's HBO, it's got a nice cinematic effect. It's almost like, ooh, look at that.
I want to thank you, Vic, for ruining my my internet searches for the next week, because I had to Google Sydney Sweeney topless, and now I feel like I'm going to get a bunch of naked women ads.
Why is that ruining? Just PTR it. PTR it for me, CH Tender, John, and Bork, and Fish. And Sam. You're a saggy titty man?
Do you want to see her in a bustier? Because I think that doesn't count.
No saggies.
No saggies? What the fuck? Well, first of all, I don't think you've been here for a while, but I don't think, do you know what we mean by saggy?
I got some context, yeah.
And you're still against that? You like that firm, like that muscular fake titty?
Not the fake, but the
Dude, leave Sam alone. He's like 19. He's never even seen fully developed breasts.
Yeah, he has.
Wait, Sam, have you ever been with a girl over 25?
No.
Yeah, so he's not seen a fully developed woman yet.
Damn, bro. Do we need to show Sam some saggy titties? Sam, we need to get your ass to Vegas?
6'7".
I have TP for my Bunholio. Cornholio, Sam. What you know about that?
see the new fashion trend among monkeys, and they are shoving grass up their butts?
You cannot refer to African Americans as monkeys. That is fucked up.
I thought you have to smoke the weed. I didn't know that Africans are putting weed into their butts now to get high.
Jesus Christ, dude! I can't believe you did that on Clubhouse.
Spoofing weed? That's a new one.
Sam, I thought you would be immune because you're a Southern California kid too, but you didn't get the immunity. You didn't get the big old biddies booster.
The biddies booster.
The Tiggo biddies booster.
Tiggo biddies.
You didn't go up around just the... Well, yeah, you did, but I don't know how often it was in your face, but just all the fake Hollywood, like, appearances and cosmetics and, you know, that West Side LA look where they're all in fucking yoga pants and you could fucking see their clit through the fucking yoga pants. You know, some Lululemons and... Yeah. Did not experience debauchery LA.
No.
It's a shame, because now, like, I grew up and it's just, like, fucking woke, like, trans LA. But LA was, like, fucking Playboy LA. Still kind of is, because all the porn industry in San Fernando Valley. But, it's not as quite the same.
We just met our in-laws for the first time, and my parents are pissed. They're conservative. They're Spanish people.
When you say your in-laws, like you married a girl?
My sister's in-laws.
That's important context.
Thank you.
What does conservative Spanish mean? Like, they told your parents think they, like, worship Franco or something? Like, what's going on here?
They're Trump supporters of Spanish descent.
Oh, that's awesome.
What? No. You can't tell me that the guy who got the Hispanic vote by like 50% is Hispanics that support him. No. It's almost like the people who are most directly affected are the people that white people can't tell the difference between.
Is your sister conservative, Sam?
Closeted.
Well, that's good at least. She'll be very happy.
Yep.
Got a girl.
How old is she, Sam?
28.
Nice.
You know, you should always do the retard test on a woman before you evaluate her further. Just be like, hey, by the way, you should smile more. And then based on her feedback, you'll know if she's crazy or not. If you told your sister to smile more, what would be her reaction?
She would not like that.
Dude, what is it with women and being like, hey, maybe don't look like a miserable bitch and then you'll find a man? It seems like very reasonable advice.
Well, as a gay man, you wouldn't understand, but you basically tell them, dance, monkey, dance.
It's like, if you don't look miserable, maybe someone would want to ask you out.
Yeah, the dancing monkeys are the most entertaining monkeys.
Correct. I mean...
My sister's in-laws were so based, though. It was hilarious.
What's the most base thing they said?
They're like, aren't you so grateful for the ice?
They were hating all the immigrants getting all these free healthcare benefits in Spain. They were like, we pay these fucking taxes, and they're getting all these benefits. They're getting free healthcare.
Yo,